Everybody, welcome to the His or Her Way podcast. I am your guest today with our host, TJ. Olympia, hi.
All right, tonight. So we got Olympia in the building.
Hey.
Um, couldn't wait to get a chance to sit down with you and talk about something that's very important to all Caribbean women.
Yes.
Cancer. We actually have a cancer survivor with us tonight. Um, when did you discover that you was diagnosed with cancer?
I was officially diagnosed last year, January 17th, with breast cancer at that time. It was just
Mm-hmm.
breast cancer. And then it was February 20th when they actually diagnosed me with stage 4 breast cancer, which basically means that it metastasized or spread. It started off in my left boob, went into
Mm-hmm.
my lymph nodes, and then it also was in my right hip and in my skull. Luckily, it didn't, go further than the skull.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Um, you say in January was your first.
That's when I was diagnosed. I actually took the test. I did the mammogram in December
Mm,
2022, but January 23 was when I was actually diagnosed.
oh wow. So when you say stage 4,
Hmm. Oh,
so
it's levels. All
yes,
right. So
right.
what happens? Stage 4 is actually the highest level, which under most circumstances, most doctors don't treat you. They write you off and they tell you, hey, try something holistic. Best of luck. I mean, they don't say that. I don't know what they say, but I am fortunate that they didn't tell me that. Stage
Right.
4 is the most severe phase.
Wow.
So like I said, I'm lucky because in most cases they just turn people away who have that diagnosis. But because I met certain criteria, um, and to be honest, I don't even know what the criteria that I met was, but
Mm,
because I met it, um, they were able to treat me aggressively.
okay. Okay. When did you start your treatment once they realized you was at stage 4?
Okay, well, first I had to go through a ton of tests. I had to go through, obviously, like I said, the mammogram, the biopsies. I had to do CT scans, PET scans, um, MRIs. I had to
Mm-hmm.
do those types of things first. Once all of those were complete, blood work, all these other different types of tests, I then began treatment on February 20th of last year.
Mm,
That was chemo. So my treatment consisted of three parts. It consisted of the chemo,
mm-hmm.
which I had to do 6 rounds of that every 3 weeks Feb- from February 20th up
Mm-hmm.
until June. I can't remember the exact date, but sometime in June. So I had to do 6 rounds of chemo. Um, I stayed there, like my chemo treatment was about 8 hours each time. Um, Sometimes longer, depending on on different variables. Um, but I was there. I told them they need to pay me. I was working. um, but I was there, like I said. So that was the first part. After chemo was complete, I still had to do what they call immunotherapy. I'm still doing immunotherapy right now,
Okay. What's
which
what's that all about?
immunotherapy basically is something to help my immune system build up
Okay.
immunity. I hate to use the same word, basically towards the type of cancer that I had, because there's so many different types of cancers, but I was diagnosed with HER2 positive breast cancer. Now, don't ask me to get into the science. That's not my field. Okay. But that's what I was diagnosed with,
Right.
HER2 positive breast cancer. Um, what else? Okay, so after, well, I still do immunotherapy, and again, that's every 3 weeks. After that, I did a mastectomy.
Mm,
Mastectomy, basically, I did a double mastectomy, which means they took um, all of the breast tissue out of my boobs. And I also had tissue expanders placed inside.
Mm.
Temporary. The tissue expanders are temporary because I had to do radiation
Oh,
after
okay.
after the mastectomy. So it was chemo, mastectomy, radiation. Radiation began in September and lasted all the way until December 14th. So it was a long year. I was in the doctors seemingly, well, for sure every week, but it seemed like multiple times a week. It seemed like every day.
I think the radiation was it painful, the treatment?
No, actually, so chemo for me, I didn't have too many negative side effects. My side effects consisted of, with chemo,
Mm-hmm.
I lost my sense of taste.
Okay.
I couldn't taste anything, and then what I could taste tasted metallic, or it tasted like sand, or it was just gritty. Certain things I ate, I really only could eat chicken sauce. Oh, that was the only thing I could take. I don't know why. Maybe because it had lemon in it,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the only thing I could stand was chicken sauce. Then on top of that, like I said, other than that, lost all my hair.
Oh,
Which,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
boiled head potato salad, like you. You actually have more hair than I had.
Oh, wow.
But I lost all my hair, which was fine with me because what I did initially before I even started chemo is I shaved my head.
Mhm.
So that process wasn't bad for me. But I'll get to another part of it. What happened was after chemo, so like I said, I didn't have nausea. One of the medications they gave me used to cause me to have like cramps, but I found a way to combat that.
Mhm.
What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? It put me in a state of menopause, actually, too. Yes. What else? Radiation for me. Like I said, I had to do it in 3 spots. I had to do it hip, no symptoms there, no side effects. I had to do it in my skull. There weren't, only side effect I had was, oddly enough, my hair had started growing back, but the section that they did the radiation in, all
Mhm.
the hair in that section fell out. So
Okay.
that's starting to grow back now, finally, thank God. And then the boob, when they did the boob last, and the boob, I don't know, I had what they call radiation burn. It's just like a sunburn type
Mhm.
of thing, but it wasn't severe, and all I did was put Aquaphor on it and worked, cleared it up right away. Now you can't even tell anything was ever there.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm truly blessed because I didn't have it as bad as, like, TV and movies and things that you watch, they make you think that things are one way, like they automatically make you look frail and, I hate to say it, sickly.
Mhm.
It makes you look that way. That's what we think going into it. So when I was diagnosed, I was like, because I always look at things different than everyone else. I was like,
Right.
oh shoot, I got the cheat code to losing some weight.
That's what you was thinking about.
That's what I said. I thought that.
Wow.
However, I was completely wrong because, hey, the luck that
Mm.
I have, I had to gain weight with the steroids that they gave me. Listen, them steroids is crazy. Every 20 minutes, I was starving. I could eat right now, and
Mhm.
20 minutes later, it felt like my stomach was growling.
Wow.
So it made you hungry. So I had no choice but to gain weight. So
Mhm.
I got up to like 218 pounds. Yes, yes.
That's a lot.
Yes, and I short, so
Yeah.
imagine rolling.
Wow. So what made you like went and get a checkup
Okay,
to see
so yeah,
you had certain symptoms that was
yes. So
okay.
what happened is, for me, I could actually feel lumps in my breast. There was one right behind my nipple, and then there was one right here. So I could actually feel them underneath my skin, and it was kind of like like it didn't hurt, but like just to touch up against it, it felt like, to me, it felt gross.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it wasn't gross. It's just like I said, for me, I'm kind of scornful. So that was one thing. And the second thing was, remember, like I told you, it spread. So
Mm-hmm.
I had real bad headaches.
Mm.
And no matter what I did, typically when I have headaches, it's because I ate too late, or, I
Oh,
waited
you
too
didn't
long
sleep
to eat.
enough.
Yeah.
Like,
So my remedy for everything, I don't take medication. My remedy for everything is to go to sleep.
right.
And that wasn't working at all. So, like I said, the headaches and actually feeling lumps
Mm-hmm.
was why I went and got checked up. Um, in December, I got the test.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they wanted to do a biopsy right away, but I was heading to Long Island for the holidays. I was, so they told me, okay, well, we'll do the biopsy when you come back. I waited a while.
But
So I,
you being on, sorry, but
Mhm.
you being on at that time, you was at stage 4.
No,
No, you okay? You didn't know
no,
yet, so
no,
that's
no. We didn't. No one knew until I had I think they had made me do like a second MRI,
mm-hmm.
and that is when, like I said, on February 20th is when we found out the stage. But I was actually diagnosed with cancer again, and the type of cancer, which was HER2 positive.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with that on January 17th.
And that's different from breast cancer.
No, no, that's
It's the
breast
same,
cancer.
but it's a different type of
Yes.
breast cancer.
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot. So, what age you think women should check for?
Nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
well, at the time I was only 40, so they recommend that you start getting mammograms at the age of 40, regularly. However, now I'm hearing people in their early 30s. So with the food that we eat, with the different lifestyle that we live, I say get checked as early as 25.
25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree
and,
with
and
you.
and keep it continuous, keep it consistent. Don't miss those doctor's appointments. Don't hesitate. Anything you think might be wrong, because you know your body, you know what you're used to, you know what's normal. um let's just keep it real. If you have, like, normally, you don't have an issue, but one day, you smell a foul scent after having sex with John Doe,
Mm-hmm.
that lets you know that, hey, something may be wrong. Let
Right,
me go
right.
get it checked out. So, the signs, don't ignore them. In my case, I felt the lumps earlier in the year,
Mm.
which I should have gotten them checked out, but because I knew I was moving and I didn't, worst case scenario, that's the type of person I am. I think of every outcome, every situation. That's how I look at it. So I knew that I was moving from North Carolina to Florida. I knew that if I had gotten tested in North Carolina, I would have had to start treatment there, and that would have prolonged me moving and all that. So I
Right.
did the move first, and then I
Went and
went
get
and got
checked out.
checked. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because with Caribbean people,
Mhm.
once we hear stage 4, it's
Mhm.
like there's no coming back. We
Right. Well, see, here's the thing. Okay. In my situation, I intentionally chose ignorance, which means, as educated as I am, as smart as I am, as wise as I, I think I am, I do know that I don't know everything. What I chose was not to go on Google. I chose not to go and self-diagnose myself, based on what the doctor said. I asked questions. When I was told, remember now, February 20th is when I was told that I had stage 4, but that was also the first day of chemo. So it was kind of a nerve-wracking day for me. I didn't know what to expect, trying to understand everything. Um, I just was numb, ignorant. I did not know what stage 4 meant. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't ask. I didn't care to know. And I noticed that throughout the whole thing, like all the doctors would every time they said something to me, it's like they expected me to flip out, like, or break down and cry. But that's just not who I am. I don't react in the moment. I have to sit, process. I have to think about things and understand what's going on. And then I do have a brother that's a doctor, so I had to consult with him
Mm-hmm.
to try to get him to speak to me in layman terms and be real with me,
Right.
as to what to expect. So I did have that. So I didn't really freak out or anything. I just prayed. I hope for the best. I'm very optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Very, I guess, what's the word for me? I wouldn't say naive. Definitely not. It's just that I always hope for the best. I know I believe in God,
Mm-hmm.
and how can I believe in God and not trust Him to finish what He started?
Right.
You know,
Right.
so I didn't give up, and I think that was one thing that helped me get through it, is the fact that I made up in my mind that I was going to see this thing through to the end and actually survive. So that's pretty much it.
So when that day come when you found out you was cancer free, how you felt?
Actually, I was proclaiming it before it actually happened. Well, let me not say that. So, after my mastectomy, my surgical oncologist,
Mm-hmm.
they did tests, and according to the pathology test,
Right.
I was I didn't have any sign of cancer in the body.
Okay.
So, from that moment, I was professing that I was cancer free. Was I? I don't know. But according to the pathology test, he
Mm-hmm.
said that there was no sign of cancer. I asked him, I said, well, do I have to still do radiation? And he said, yes, we want to make sure that, we attack it aggressively, and we want to give you the best outcome possible. So I said, okay, sure, no problem. So we did radiation. Um, when they got to, remember I said they did the hip, then my skull, then
Mm-hmm.
my breast.
Right.
When they got to my skull, they told me that they couldn't see anything to radiate. So basically, they were going off of just where they knew it was
Mm-hmm.
to do the radiation, um, which was fine by me. Let's just do what we got to do. So officially, I don't even remember the date, but it was it in January? I think it was January or maybe early this month. Um, I did a PET scan, and the PET scan revealed that there is no cancer.
Right.
So I was driving
Mm-hmm.
when they called to tell me the results, and I just praised God while I was driving in the car. And the nurse, she was, because it was the nurse practitioner that called me, she was just like, laughing and smiling with me and telling me congratulations. She's so happy.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no words to describe how I felt. It's
Well,
just like, to me, it was just like a miracle.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, how do you go from stage 4, the end, allegedly? How do you go from that extreme to 0?
Oh, I'll go it.
Oh, God. Miracle.
What's the percentage of women surviving when they get to that point? Because I know you did your research.
No, I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. But I mean, like I said, I think it starts with, because the doctors, they're not the best at delivering news.
Right.
They do what they have to, and I guess because they do it so often, it's like they become numb to it. So they just tell you information, and it's up to you. If you don't know what to ask, if you don't have someone who's been there,
Mm-hmm.
who's been through it there with you, or if you don't have someone who's also equally knowledgeable, then you don't know what to ask. And then I don't know the percentage. I honestly don't. Like I said, I know people who who've had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone. It comes back. And that's the scary part of this whole thing, right? The scary part is today I'm cancer free. How do I prevent it from coming back? Because we don't know where it came from. You know, like it's not like something that you know, okay, TJ had a cold. I was sitting next to him on the plane. Now I have a cold.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going around TJ no more.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah.
it ain't something like that. It's something where you actually have no clue. So now I'm trying to live a healthier lifestyle. Choosing the foods I eat a little bit more wisely, paying attention to the warning signs and warning labels on things, the everything. I'm reading all the nutritional facts, everything now, because I don't know where it came from. It's allegedly there's no history of it in my family. I don't carry the BRCA gene, which is a gene, I guess, that causes you to or gives you the likelihood of having it. I don't know exactly what the BRCA gene is. No
That's what the doctor said.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay.
So I don't have that. I don't have a family history. So where did this
On
thing
both
come from?
sides.
No,
I
correct.
don't know.
So it's like no idea where this thing came from.
I'm glad you discovered it in time to
Yeah.
to be able to handle it and
Yeah.
be done with it. So I feel like that was very important, you know, especially for your testimony to
Yes.
come on the podcast and explain that, because that's important. A lot of younger women is being diagnosed with cancer, or you know,
Yes.
they waited too late.
Yes.
And the lady Saturn Waves, who was on the episode before, she spoke about how a friend died at 30
30.
for breast cancer.
Wow.
You know, that's pretty young. That's extremely young.
So what was the scenario? Just give me a little breakdown. Was it
She
something that she just didn't know?
she didn't go on too much in depth with it, because we was basically talking about her. You know, she felt like she wasn't a good friend, and she just was giving me on why she felt like she wasn't a good friend.
Okay.
But it stand out to me on how her friend died at such a young age.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, growing up in the Bahamas, people we knew who had cancer, it was either like in their 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It wasn't prone to people being diagnosed with cancer at such a young age.
You're getting younger and younger,
So-
and at this point, no one is exempt.
Yeah, and that goes for women and men. Like men, we gotta take our tests. You know, take the proper test too. You know, not. You know, we don't really go to the hospital until we actually in pain.
Correct.
It's like, okay, we can't bear the pain, but sometimes it's be too late.
Correct.
You know, but definitely for women, especially breast cancer, which is really known in the island.
Correct. Correct.
So I just wanted to bring
And
up-
it's nothing to be ashamed of either. You know, like I know people were wondering, like, why didn't I say anything? Or there were a lot of people that asked me why. It's a lot of reasons why I didn't say anything, because people start, you know, putting their fears on you. And I didn't want that. Like,
Right.
I remember I had to tell a friend of mine, and I texted her, and she called me. The minute she called me, I break down and cry, because it's like, I don't want to have to give this bad news to people. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. But at the end of the day, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it is something. At the end of the, it's nobody. Not everyone has to know about it. I just feel like if you let the core people, your core people know. Again, I think what happens is most people may have to tell it just so that they can you know, they may need to do fundraising or whatever their personal reasons are. I don't
Right.
know, but at the end of the day, for me, I chose not to say it because I didn't want people inflicting their fears on me. I didn't want people to start worrying about me. I didn't want, because the minute I started telling people, everybody started calling and, oh, how come you didn't tell me? Why didn't you
Right.
let me know? And this and that. Oh, you should try this. You should do that. The doctors and God
Mm.
got me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it was like, I got a lot of people trying to tell me, okay, you got to do the holistic approach. You got to take the apricot seeds, and you got to take the soursop leaves, which are true. I should
Mhm.
have, but I'm in America. I don't have access to those things right
Mhm.
now. So let me just do this chemo. And I hated it. I hated the chemo. I hated the fact that I had to go through all of those things, but it was a part of the process. And if I wanted to get better, I had to go through it.
Right.
And I accepted that. And like I said, I chose to do it in silence and quiet and peace. And it was time that I took to understand a lot of things. I actually rested. I've been going and going and going and going since I was, well, I graduated high school at 17, moved to North Carolina,
Mhm.
and was working, then went to school, then became a single mother, and it just like, kept on going. So I didn't have time to actually rest. This time that last year, the entire last year basically, I
Mhm.
took to rest, and it felt good.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's real good.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people call you, because when you think of cancer, it's almost like it's like a death sentence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So soon as someone has that, and then stage 4,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, oh, let's check on this person. And I agree with what you said. Like sometimes it's good to keep that to yourself because you don't want people to have that fear or
Right.
worried, not make you worried. And, you know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
what hospital did your
Okay.
treatment?
So I two hospitals. So for the surgical part, I well three technically. For the surgical part, I did. No, I don't remember the name of it. Okay, sorry. So, okay, there's a thing called chemo brain. First and foremost, let me put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Chemo brain, and
Right.
then I already can't remember nothing. Anyway, so, all right. So I did my mammogram, ultrasound, and my surgeries at HCA on University Boulevard
Okay.
Drive, University Drive Boulevard, whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
HCA hospital, really nice hospital, really great staff, um, zero complaints. The facility is very clean, very new, modern. It it's just inviting. I love that hospital.
What's the name of it again? Just for
H
the viewers?
HCA
HCA.
University Hospital. It's right
Okay.
next to Nova University.
Okay. Okay.
Um, their radiology department, everyone in there, at least for me, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, I had a great experience every time I had to go there. Zero complaints. Um, I did the medical portion, which is the chemo, still doing it at Memorial Hospital West,
Okay.
which is off of Flamingo and Pines Boulevard. And
Okay.
they actually just finished there. They just opened up a brand new facility for cancer of all kinds.
Okay.
So it's
Nice.
really nice, really modern.
Mm-hmm.
I like them too. The nursing staff is very, very nice. Very, very genuinely nice. So radiation.
Mm-hmm.
I did radiation at Genesis Care. That is off of Broward Boulevard. I can't remember the street it's on, but it's called Genesis Care
Mm.
and Dr. Chen.
Oh, so that's right up the road then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yeah.
So it's everything except the furthest thing from me was Memorial West,
Yeah.
but that's okay. It was only once every 3 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. So moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the tests or some of the treatments that you're going to be doing
Well,
moving forward?
okay, so every 3 months I have to do a ECG Yeah, echocardiogram. I have to do every 3 months to ensure that my heart is able to withstand the. It's not chemo anymore, but the immunotherapy that I am receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's every 3 months, and then the immunotherapy every 3 weeks. So that's basically it. And
Mm.
I am so happy. It was so miserable to have to be going into see this doctor, this consultation, this test. Oh God,
Mm.
drawing blood every time, or having to have the IV put in me because of whatever contrast they needed to insert in me so that they
Mm.
could see beyond what was to be seen. I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
I think
I'm
too
just
that's
tired.
I think too that's why a lot of people kind of like, I don't want to say give up the fight,
Hmm.
but they just like, you know what, it
It
is
was
what it
very
is.
tiring.
Because going from being so healthy and doing
Hmm.
this and that to
Hmm.
doing all these other things, I guess it becomes discouraging for them, and they just
It
kind of accept it for what it is.
Yeah, it like I said, it is a very dreadful and daunting task. Like I said, you mornings I had to get up like 5. I mean, I'm up awake
Mm-hmm.
around that kind of time anyway, but getting up out of the bed, that's another story. And then on top of that, you're not feeling well because of all the medications that they're giving you, so you have to get up. You got to go to this appointment.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like needles, too bad. Okay, you got to get them, right?
Right.
um like I said, I had also they had to install a port inside me. So right now that's still there. That is where they administer the IV for me
Mm-hmm.
every time. So anytime you may have seen my picture with like that little plastic thing and the IV there, that's where my medication goes. Um that's still in me. I still have to, I don't know when, at what point they will remove that. Probably after my immunotherapy is done, which should be around July ish. So
Okay.
we don't know. I don't know how soon they'll remove it or if they will remove it. You never know. Then I still actually have to do the reconstructive surgery.
Mm.
Because these can't stay in me. But like I told you, they are tissue expanders, but they have metal in them, so they prevent me
Mm.
from having MRIs
Oh
or
wow.
different other certain types of um, screenings. So they have to come out and they have to put implants in, um, or whatever they're gonna do. The doctor also discussed we could do fat transfer, which would be nice. You know, I'm always looking for a cheat code. But
uh,
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. I just go with the flow at this point. It's much less hectic than last year because like again, like I said, last year I was in the doctor every other day.
mm.
This doctor, that doctor, the radiologist, the medical oncologist, the surgical oncologist, I just it was so much. The plastic surgeon, everybody had to be involved. So it's so much. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, and people may not want to go through all that or they get tired and give up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But I couldn't give up.
yeah.
I wanted to live. I have a lot of things that I want to do.
Right.
I needed to be, apparently, I was chosen to be a testimony. You know,
That's real.
this wasn't the kind of testimony I wanted, but hey, his way, not mine.
Right.
But um, like I said, I knew I wanted to be there for my son, specifically my daughter. She's almost 20, you know, but of course she still needs me.
Mm.
But not as much as my son. So
Right.
I needed there to be there for him, and he was with me throughout the whole thing. So you know,
That's good.
I couldn't stay down long, even if I wanted to. When I wasn't feeling well, I had family that came in town right after I had, like during the time that I had chemo,
Mm-hmm.
and they would stay for about a week, maybe two, and after that, it was
Mm-hmm.
back home. So I had to get up and I had to take him to school, and I had to do all the other stuff that I was supposed to do as a mother.
How old is your son?
he's 10 now.
He's 10.
So he was 9 going through all of this.
Mm. How did it affect him?
I think it kind of from just what I based on what I've seen now. I noticed that on certain days, like when I had the chemo treatments,
Mm-hmm.
is like he just was not feeling well physically himself on those days. I don't know if it was a subconscious thing or what, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just like he was not feeling well. And then he told me that I seemed sad, and I think it kind of bothered him that I felt sad or whatever. So I tried to always, be a little bit more upbeat. But I think that's the extent. He's not a child that bothers a lot or whatever. He's not a needy child or
Right.
anything like that. So um, it didn't affect him as badly as I thought it was going to be. He didn't cry
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. But I do notice now that I'm feeling better, he's more bubbly too.
Right.
So I think he may have been concerned about,
Yeah.
whether I would live or how I was feeling. You never know.
Yes, it gotta be tough, especially for a young boy
Mm-hmm.
who always want to protect their mom,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that he can't really do nothing
Right.
but just
Right.
watch you
Right.
and
Oh,
watch
yeah.
the process.
Yeah, I remember. I remember after the first treatment, like I said, after the first treatment, well, after each chemo treatment, they gave me a shot called Neulasta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this thing was a little portable device that was stuck here on my midsection near my navel area, tummy. So
Mm-hmm.
this thing went off. I think it was about 26 hours after chemo.
Mhm.
So the next day it would go off. And the first time, like I told you, it hit me, and it's just like I had cramps. It was like
Mm.
whatever. So I was like making all kind of noise, and he came out of his room and he was very concerned. He was like, "Are you whatever?" But other than that, easy going.
So once you told him that, you was cancer free,
Mm-hmm.
he was happy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, the show must go on. That's
Right.
how I try to basically, teach him. Because like I said, I basically all of his life, he's very wise for his age.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands death. He understands that we all are born, we live, we die. No one knows how long in between birth and death we have. So he does understand that process, but I don't think he was ready.
It's one thing to understand it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one thing to actually experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Why I say that? Because growing up, with my aunts, uncles, and everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I always thought they was gonna live forever,
Mm-hmm.
and it hit me when I was 17 and my aunt died.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was unreal, and when it hit me, like I broke down.
Oh, wow.
But ever since that, I looked at death differently. So it's fortunate. I mean, it's fortunate for him. He don't have to, deal with that.
Right,
so
right.
that's pretty good. That's good.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
Well, conclusion: what would be your advice,
Mm-hmm.
and not just the young women, but women in general?
Women, men, anyone.
Yes,
Anyone,
women,
because this
men.
thing has no respect of persons, eh?
Right.
So at the end of the day, I would say don't ignore the signs. Listen to your body. Anything that if you feel like anything is off, it's better to get tested and find out that nothing is wrong than not to get tested and then it be too late. All right. So the earlier the better. Anything you feel, if you feel a lump, if you feel headaches, anything. I'm not familiar with all of the signs, tenderness in your breasts, the different signs. I didn't have all of those. Like I said, I could actually feel the lumps and I had the headache. So that is what prompted me. And then the fact that I was also 40 and that is the recommended age. But now because we're hearing of 30-year-olds and people dying, even children diagnosed with cancer. So anything you feel you detect something is off, go and get checked at. Don't hide information from your doctors. They're there for a reason, to help. And I just feel like the earlier you get tested, the earlier you detect it, the better chance you have of surviving.
One last question. I know you said they checked the areas where they spotted the cancer the first time.
No. So remember now, I told you that I felt it in my breast for sure. So
I mean after the treatments and everything, and they checked the same areas and they see that it wasn't no cancer.
correct. What the CT scan and the PET scan, what that does is it scans the entire body.
Okay, that was gonna be that
It
was what I was
scans the
getting at.
entire body, but
Okay.
of course they were focused on the areas specifically that they knew about. And I, like I said, throughout the entire process, I had done multiple CT, PET scans,
Okay.
MRIs. I did it all multiple times. So they did it to detect whether it was anywhere else in the
Yeah,
body.
okay. Yeah, that's what I was initially getting at. So that's okay, because that's just to be safe. You know, you don't want to just check those areas and come to find out it spread somewhere else.
Correct,
you know.
correct.
So, but I appreciate the info.
Of course.
I feel like this is very important, and we need to not take it for granted.
We definitely don't.
You know, women and men. I know with men is a new test now, where because you know when you think of men, oh, they got a stick. You know. So a lot of men kind of neglect that and wait
Correct.
till it's too late.
Correct.
So,
yes.
but definitely this is important, especially the processed food that we eating. You know.
Oh my
You know,
God.
at the end of the day, it's about supply and demand.
Correct. And see, because we as Bahamians get our food from where? The United States.
Right.
Where they got GMOs, genetically modified
Right.
organisms, and whatever the hell the O stand for. Hey, I told you, I'm wise enough to know that I don't know everything. So they got all these GMOs, and it's just like fake food, like a bunch of fake food. We're eating a lot of plastic, if you ask me, because rice don't taste the same to me no more.
Really?
Like, no, eggs don't taste the same to me no more. When I say that, like from when I was a kid versus now, I remember when you cook eggs, they used to stink up the house. Like that was a scent you couldn't get rid of. But now you cook eggs and just turn on the vent fan. And I mean, maybe we didn't have vent fans when I was young. I don't know, but maybe that was it. But
Right.
I'm just saying, like the scent alone kind of indicates to me that these things that we're eating aren't
Right.
real, or whatever the case may be. And I think, you know, because like I said, Bahamians, we get our food from the United States,
Right.
especially Grand Bahamians. We fly over here, we
Easy
catch the
trip.
boat, you know, put
Yeah.
things on the boat, and we go. So a lot of the food we're eating is not necessarily good for us. We need to go back to eating a lot more natural foods, like farm fresh items, farmers markets, buy your things from there.
Right.
But grow your own stuff,
That is true.
you know, and then focus on items. Well, not items. Remember, we used to, when we, I don't know about you, but my grandma used to make sure every morning we had Sarah C, and we had cod liver oil. Oh, jeez, I hated cod liver oil.
I still got that.
Jesus.
I still got that up to the date. Olive oil.
What do you take, the pills, or you drink the actual?
No, the pills.
Yeah.
Seven C's.
Yeah, okay. I
Still,
think I need to get that back, though. I need to get back into the habit of taking that. But before I was diagnosed, I hardly got a cold. I hardly got sick. Nothing. So, like I said, you can definitely tell when something is wrong because,
Right.
like I said, the headache portion of it. Now I was under a lot of stress. Like I said, I had moved. My daughter graduated from school, went to college. There was a lot of things. Then on top of that, a friend of mine, she passed away. So it was a lot of
Mm.
stress. So okay, maybe I would have ignored it if I didn't already feel like it, like I something was wrong. But again, don't ignore the signs. Men and women, young and old, get tested.
Right. You hear that?
That sounded like a little HIV ish, STD ish.
But it's true. It's true though. You gotta get tested. You
Yeah,
know.
man, you have to. Like I said, it's something that we can't neglect.
No, not at all.
What was his name? The guy, Steve Jobs. You know,
Hmm.
in the end, only he had it all.
Yeah.
But in the end, all he wanted was his health, and
Yeah.
he couldn't pay for that. You can't.
That's real. But appreciate you coming
Yeah.
and sharing your story. This
Appreciate you having
this
me.
is crucial. You know, I really hope a lot of women and men take heed of.
Yeah,
With,
yeah.
you know,
Like
so-
I said, men, women, young, old, doesn't matter. It has no respect of persons, and best way to beat it is
Right.
to catch it early
Right.
and stay positive
Definitely.
always.